Hello and welcome back to a Drag Race UK live stream here on The Mirror. My name is Ryan Wilks and today I'm joined by the incredibly talented Scarlett Harlett. Hi Scarlett, how are you?
All right, sweetheart. How are we feeling this evening? Or not this evening, today. I'm so used to being in drag in the evening. I say this evening, sorry.
That's absolutely fine. So if you do have any questions today for Scarlett, please do drop them down in the comment section and we will try and get them answered for you. So first things first, Scarlett, how do you feel after last night's elimination? You should be so proud of yourself for making it so far through the competition.
I am. You know what? It was such a joy. Just even the elimination at the end alone was such a joy to watch because I didn't know at the end that RuPaul, when I said, "You ain't my mother," I didn't know that he said, "Yes, I am," because I had walked off already. So to end my run on Drag Race with RuPaul shouting, "Yes, I am," was just, you can't ask for better, can you? Just total camp mess. I love it.
It was incredible. So we do have a fan question here from Mitch asking, out of the final four, who would you like to take the crown?
I have to give it to my girl, Kitty's Got Paws, because I think that she's just so fun. She knows how to tell a story and she would keep us entertained from morning until night. She's just so funny. She's got the most craziest memory ever. She remembers everything. And she's just hilarious and such a good time gal. So, and I got to have a lovely chat with her about my mum during the show. So that brought us close together. So Kitty.
I think Kitty's been doing great. She could definitely snatch the crown. I think she's actually turning out to be a front runner now, especially.
Yes. She got herself her first win.
She did. I was screaming at the telly like, it's time.
Finally. I know. Even I was like, thank God I got to see her win before I left.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, Scarlett, is this the first time you auditioned for the show? Because I think that you are like a staple to UK drag. I think that you represent UK drag really well.
To be honest, I auditioned for season 1 and 2, but the thing is that I know that when I look at my tapes, they are awful because I didn't really commit to. Number one, I didn't commit to the character, me wanting to be on the show, but also I don't think I knew who I was as a drag queen yet, and I didn't really know how to capitalize on me being from the East End and the working class queen and being the Danny Dye of drag, Cockney princess and all that. And I think it took the time for me to develop that as my character to then be able to get ready to go on TV. You know what I mean? So hopefully it worked.
Yeah, I think you would have worked on any season, to be fair. I think you would have been incredible.
Thank you, babes.
Like I said, I think you just show British drag so well. And like you said, you're the Cockney princess, the Danny Dyer of drag. It's pure British camp.
It is.
So walking into the
references and all sorts. Anyway, sorry, go on, carry on.
Walking into the workroom, it must have been so daunting for you. How early did you have to wake up? Because obviously you knew that you were making your debut to like the world, really.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely an early morning. If I remember correctly, I remember getting ready in the hotel. It must have been, I think I was one of the first to get ready. So I think it was probably about 6 a.m., 5 a.m., probably even more earlier than that. Because I wanted to look as pretty as I could look on my first day. So yeah, I think I got ready at the crack of dawn. And I don't know who Dawn is, but she sounds like a good time.
And Mitch has got back in touch as well and said that he just wants to say that he loved all of your looks on the show and he thinks that you're iconic.
Oh, thank you, Mitch. I love your suit. I can see it from the picture. Camp, love it. Hello, Mitch.
Fab. So now I saw you at the Pride of Britain Awards, Scarlett, and we had a little chat at the Pride of Britain on the red carpet.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right. I'm so silly. Right.
So how is it going from your local drag scene to rubbing shoulders with like A-list celebrities? That must be so crazy for you. How is it like adjusting to being a Ru girl?
It's mental. You know, even just like going to award shows and having someone from the press actually want to listen to what I've got to say in itself is just wild. But also, I remember sitting at the table in the Pride of Britain Awards. I was looking around and there was like Duncan from Dragon's Den, and then you had like Vicky Patterson from Geordie Shore, and you had like, I was on a table with Olympic medalists. I swear to God, this is a funny story. I turned my head, I was just looking over at the show, and Ella Vidae was sat next to me, and she tapped me on the shoulder and she went, "Yeah, babes, feel how heavy this is." I turned over and she handed me a big gold Olympic medal that one of the people at the table was just carrying around. And I held it and my hand went like this. So heavy. And so I was like, wow, I'm sitting across from, you know, Dragon's Den, Geordie Shore, Love Island, Olympic athletes, Paralympic athletes. It was just like, I don't know if I belong here. I felt like they only kept me so that I could clean the stage afterwards.
So it must have been like so amazing to be around those people, but also it must have felt correct. Like you earned this. You've been working hard for many years now.
You know what the funny thing is? I said to some of the girls that I was with that night that I see my drag sisters on my season as Ru girls, but I don't see myself as one because I only think of myself as what I've always been. You know what I mean? So, it's funny because I see my sisters as Ru girls now, and they say the same back, that they don't see themselves as Ru girls, but they see us as Ru girls. So I think it's mentally something that is so, because it's such a goal and an achievement to do in drag, that it's actually genuinely difficult to process when these things happen. So like walking around and seeing celebrities at the Pride of Britain Awards was just like the least of my worries. I was just trying to stay sane. This is crazy that I've been through all of this, but I couldn't be more grateful, honestly. And I get to meet you as well at the Pride of Britain Awards. So.
You do. So I actually want to take a moment to address the elephant in the room. I am sorry, but you did have to lip sync 3 times in competition, and unfortunately, the 3rd time was not a charm. Do you think having to lip sync this many times kind of like dulled your energy, or would you say that it actually lit a fire like under your skirt? Which is
to be honest, I would say that it was more the opposite. I think the first time I had to lip sync was the toughest because it was the first, and if you remember that episode, I was so hard on myself because I messed up the girl group challenge, which is an iconic challenge in the Drag Race franchise, UK franchise now, that you just don't want to mess that up. So, you know, I had a breakdown on stage crying about it, as you do. And yeah, so walking into that lip sync was the hardest one I had to do. And doing it in front of Emma Bunton, oh my God, talk about pressure. And so then when I went into Big Spender, it was like, that was definitely a song that was way more what I do. I sing Big Spender in my shows. So that was way more like, oh, I can do this one. And then when Scandalous came around, once I saw that I was going against Vanity, I completely realized that she was going to wipe the absolute floor with me. So I just had a good time. And I just had fun because I kind of sensed that I was going because she's a great performer and that's what she does. So I just thought, I'm just going to go, you know, balls to the wall, as they say. I'm not going to say that, but yeah, and just have a good time, and hopefully that showed.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the Big Spender was like your lip sync. Like honestly, like the outfit, everything, it just worked.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Thank you.
So we've got a fan question from Emma, and she actually said that she loves your makeup each time. And what is next for Scarlett?
Thank you, Emma. And hopefully, I want to do more TV stuff. I would. My biggest dream, which. It sounds so far-fetched, but being on Drag Race was my biggest dream before, and I managed to do that. So I'm going to remain hopeful and all of that. But I would love to be like the next big like drag TV presenter or TV personality, like almost like Rylan, but a drag version, or even how Paul O'Grady was. You know, I would love to kind of get into that niche because even though I did terribly in the advert challenge, the Drag Lexa challenge, which we won't talk about, but. Even though I did terribly in that, I actually would really love to be like a TV presenter and to kind of do that thing. I'd love to be like Alison Hammond and someone just pushed me into the dance, you know?
So, yeah. I totally see you doing that. It's like Lawrence Chaney. She's already gone on to do Lorraine like so many times. And I think that she's potentially going to get a full-time gig soon. I can feel it coming.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think drag is literally taking over the world. And I think it's time for the British public to kind of let drag invade their lives and their TV screens again. So...
Definitely. So I want to take you back to last week's episode and speak about the iconic Macaulay Culkin. I think you smashed it personally. And I want to ask you, are you up for playing a quick round of impressions with me?
Oh, all right, then. Go on, then. I'm not too...
I'm going to give you 4 celebs, and I want you to impersonate each one.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So first up, Katie Price.
Well, me and my husband go down to the stables and we're going to ride a horse and we're going to get a good ride when we get back to the bedroom.
Amazing. Next up, Danny Dyer.
Is it right or is it wrong? Well, mate, I've got to tell you, ball, drop it.
Incredible. Next up, Lawrence Chaney.
Oh, God. I'll do RuPaul as Lawrence Chaney. You ain't here, my name's Lawrence Chaney. I don't know. That's my typical, but it would sound the same if I did Ellie Diamond. You ain't here, and I'm Ellie Diamond. So,
they all blend into one.
Yeah.
But I want to say, I think...
I'm dressed as a can of iron brew.
Yeah, definitely. You are the queen of impressions, Scarlett. You're honestly incredible.
Thank you, Ryan.
So I want to say, were you glad that you took Rue's advice of Macaulay, or would you have rather stuck with Danny Dyer? How do you feel about that?
I think personally, I would rather have stuck with Danny Dyer, only because I had pages and pages of jokes that I had prepared, that I'd written knowing that I was going to do Danny Dyer. And so I was ready to go in there and give all different types of jokes and moments and, you know, that sort of thing. But, you know, as you saw, RuPaul just fell head over heels for the Macaulay Culkin thing. And I could just sense that he wanted me to do it. And so, and as you saw as well, he made almost all of us change our characters. And, you know, the two that didn't change their characters ended up having to lip sync. So I don't regret making the decision, but if I had the choice, I would have stuck with Danny Dyer, because I had way more prepared for Danny Dyer. But, you know, that's the name of the game. You get put on the spot and you do what you need to do to impress Rue. You know what I mean? That rhymes.
And I want to speak about last week's episode, which was the Feeling Fruity runway. Now, I have seen many tweets online. I'm not sure if you've seen yourself.
The wet lettuce.
Lettuce skate. Exactly. So how do you feel about the dress now? Were you still the judgment of wearing it, or would you have thought something else?
Babe, I will tell you a fun fact, right? I didn't have much money walking onto this show, so I actually hired some dresses that I was wearing, and that was one of them. And that dress has been worn by Ahura and other queens already. So I walked into that wearing that dress, knowing that it had already been worn, but I didn't have any other options. Well, I did. This was my original fruit look, which is an orange, but I was a bit nervous. It was too simple at the time, and the way my track record was going, you know, being in the bottom, I was like, I want to try and push the boat out. And it didn't really work. It fell a bit flat. It fell into a wet lettuce moment. But you know what? I'm glad I wore it for the pure fact that it became a moment. And you know, you want to be remembered for those silly little things, whether it's good, bad, ugly. And you know what? I wouldn't change it now, because it just became a little wet lettuce moment. And it was funny to hear it on stage and the judges. So yeah, it's all part of the journey now for me.
Definitely. And if you can make fun of yourself, you might as well make some merch out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know what? You're right. And I will do that. You gave me an idea.
So earlier in the season, there was a tense moment when Rue had to ask the girls who they deserved to go home.
Mm-hmm.
You were picked by quite a few girls, which obviously led to you walking off Untucked, which is completely understandable. Was there anything seen off camera that like wasn't shown exactly that kind of led to that, or was it just more so things that were in your own head that were telling you that you should have walked out of the moment?
Well, I think it's like a combination of both. I think that obviously it's a condensed show that you get to only see, like, I don't know, a speck of what it really is, and you know it plays into it a little bit because you don't get to see the full process of how stressful it is. And you know, when we got back into Untucked, I remember the girls talking about again why they chose who they chose and stuff, and that didn't make it to air though. So I remember in that moment, you know, it just feeling a lot, and then with that happening, and me being in my own head, and just the pressure, and I was exhausted, and also, you know, I was at my breaking point. I was hanging on by an absolute thread. I'd spoken about my mum, which was a really, really personal subject for me, which I never speak about. And so I kind of opened myself up to vulnerability. And then within the space of an hour, I got onto the main stage. I got read to filth, told I should go home, and then sent to Untucked where it all happened. So
yeah,
it became a really vulnerable moment for me. And so I'm not happy with how I reacted. I fully admit that I'm ashamed, and I don't like to watch it, and I've only watched it once because it was a shameful moment for me. I don't like seeing myself act that way, and I don't like seeing myself go to these negative places, which unfortunately I went to because I was stressed. And you know, in any other scenario, I would go, I need a minute, I'm going to go and take a minute. But you can't do that on TV. It's a reality TV show, so you have to face it there and then. And unfortunately, you know, I had a moment, and it's a part of my journey now. But yeah, I can't say it wasn't difficult because it really was, and to watch as well.
Okay, I completely understand that. And the last question that I have for you today, Scarlett, was this week you were judged on the runway by none other than Alicia Dixon, the Queen of TV. Were you distracted by her in that lip sync? Because my God, she popped off. I just wanted to know, were you distracted? Because I think we all were. Like, she got more screen time than you did.
She was living, wasn't she? You know what it was? I think I loved it because I remember distinctly I remember looking like what I could see when I was performing, and when I was on this side of the stage and she was right in front of me, I remember thinking, wow, she is absolutely loving this. And so I think it kind of fed into me and Vanity wanting to go even harder on the performance, because we thought, you know, Alicia Dixon, this is her song and she is gagging over it. So we need to go in. And so that kind of also played into why I just went for it, because she was living for it. And if she's enjoying it, then why would I not enjoy it, you know? And it was just so fun to watch, like seeing her get her life, because I'm a huge fan of hers. And yeah, like you said, Queen of TV. So you can't ask for better than that, can you?
Absolutely not. So I want to thank you for your time today, Scarlett. It's been lovely speaking to you. I'll definitely catch you at a show soon and we'll have a bev.
I would love that. Thank you, Ryan. It's been really lovely.
You too, babe.